Hello, this is the Bible in Fewer Words. We are Carol and Steve Wells. This is episode 2B, Genesis, chapters 6 through 8. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Carol.
Last time, we had a genealogy.
And we ended with Noah having sons when he was 500 years old.
Mm-hmm. 3.
3 sons. Yeah. Okay.
Chapter 6.
Verse 1. As men multiplied on earth, they had some daughters.
Really?
Yeah. We've mentioned that before. We had actually 2 women that were named. Remember I can't remember their names now, but the wives of Lamech were named. Then we had Eve. But that's all that we had up to now. And then they would just say, so-and-so had some daughters. Sons and daughters, right?
Yeah.
Well, now they're emphasizing the daughters in verse 1 because in verse 2 it says,
The sons of God found them attractive and took them as wives. I always am confused. Who are the sons of God?
Yeah.
Good question, huh?
Yeah. This is the first time that phrase has been used, right, in the Bible. And the one that comes to mind, when you talk about sons of God, you really just think of one son of God, right?
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't think they're talking about him. So the sons of God found the daughters of men attractive.
Okay.
And took them as wives.
And we're saying not Jesus, other guys.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, later on we're going to find out there's another son of God that causes Job some troubles, right? Satan.
Yes.
Yeah. Probably not him either.
No.
So what most people really think this is angels. Just angels.
Fallen angels.
Well, I don't think so. Fallen angels is something that comes way at the end of the Bible with Revelation, and fallen angels implies bad angels. And I don't think this has any implication of bad angels.
No.
They're the sons of God. Just the regular old, everyday sons of God, whatever that is. So no one knows who these sons of God are, but they liked the daughters of men and married them.
I wonder what happened then.
So that's verse 2. And then in verse 3 it says, God shortened the human lifespan to 120 years because humans are flesh and he was tired of fighting with them.
That's a weird reason, isn't it?
But I think the real reason is he was upset at his sons having sex with humans. He decreased the lifespan of humans from 900 years to 120 because I didn't like what was going on there. Yeah. Between my sons and the daughter. It makes no sense. Yeah. So now we got verse 4.
Verse 4, when the sons of God had sex with the daughters of men, they produced a race of giants, which were mighty men of old.
So these giants, the Hebrew word is Nephilim. In Numbers chapter 13, the Nephilim appear. And they appear after the Exodus, and they finally arrive at the Promised Land.
Yes.
They find it's inhabited by giants.
Oh, and so they're scared to move forward.
Yes, that's right. We will cover that later.
Okay.
But just keep that in mind because of what's going to happen next.
Verse 5, God saw that humans were wicked, and he regretted making them.
He said, I'm going to kill every human and animal that I have created, for I regret that I made them.
This God is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Except for Noah, that is, because Noah was a just and perfect man who walked with God. He was? I don't remember that.
Well, we're just getting to know him now, right?
Oh, okay.
We're going to find out a little bit more about him later.
Yes, okay.
I think that's probably what you have in mind. So God's planning the flood. And the only thing that we know that's really happened so far is that his sons had sex with women.
Yes.
And they produced giants.
Yes.
And it seemed to bother him a lot. Not only am I going to reduce the lifespan, I'm going to kill everybody. And it all
That's going to reduce the lifespan.
Yeah. And it all seemed to happen just because of this incident with his sons, or the angels, and women.
Having sex.
Anyway, that's his plan.
All right. So God said to Noah, I'm going to destroy the earth because the earth is filled with violence. Make an ark of gopher wood, 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits tall. It will have 3 decks with a square cubit wide window and a door in the side. I'm going to kill everything that breathes in a flood. Everything on earth will die. Except for you, your wife, and your sons and your sons' wives, who will be in the ark, and 2 of every living thing which you will bring into the ark, 1 male and 1 female. Bring birds, cattle, and creeping things onto the ark, 2 of each kind, and take enough food to feed your family and all the animals.
Noah followed all of God's instructions about the ark. That's a pretty big job that he gave him there.
Yes. How much time is he giving him? When is he going to open the floodgates?
Well, Noah was 500 years old.
Oh, okay.
when his sons were born.
Yeah.
And I think somewhere in here it's going to tell us that he's 600 years old when the flood starts. Yeah, it says that in the next chapter. It happens when he's 600 years old. So somewhere in that span there. So he had some time, I guess.
Yeah, but still, this is a big job.
This is a larger wooden boat than has really ever been built. I think
you
maybe
mean
there
back
was...
then that had
No, in all of human history.
Really?
There are boats that are this big, but they're not made out of wood.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is when a boat gets that big, it becomes almost impossible to keep it together with all the forces that are on it in the waves.
Okay.
It would have been a tough job for Noah, but he did it.
And one little window.
One little window for ventilation. But that was a
that
nice
was about
thought.
13 inches long, you think?
Yeah, 1 cubit, about 1.5 feet. Yeah.
Okay, and all those nice smelling animals.
Uh-huh, yeah.
That would have been one heck of a ride. But I guess he did it.
Okay, chapter 7. God said to Noah, "It's time for you and your family to get on the ark. You are the only righteous person in this generation."
I guess he took a survey.
I guess so. "Take 7 of each clean beast and fowl, and 2 of each unclean, male and female." You notice something a little different from his instructions in the previous chapter?
There was no talk of unclean or clean.
There was no. And how about the number of each animal?
Oh, 7.
7.
Yeah, he just said 1 up there.
He said 2.
I mean, 1 of each.
1 pair, yeah. And he says 7 here. I think he probably means 7 pair. But this occurs throughout the story of the flood. Noah's instructions are not clear. At one time he says take 2 of each kind. Other times he says, well, take 7 of the clean and 2 of the unclean. And the reason for that is that this was a story that was written by several different people, and it was all put together, kind of clumsily put together. And so that's why you have those contradictions in there.
Okay.
Okay, so verse 4. "I'll make it rain for 40 days and nights and destroy every living thing on earth."
He seems to be proud of that fact.
Yeah, he wants to make that clear.
Noah did what God told him to do. He was 600 years old when the flood began. He took 2 of every beast, fowl, and creeping things onto the ark. And after 7 days, the flood began.
See how I did it again?
Yes.
He took 2.
Yes, and it's probably because he couldn't find any more, because he's probably limited to where he is there.
Yeah, well, we'll see later why that would be important, whether it was 2 or 7.
Okay.
So after 7 days, the flood began. And the foundations of the great deep broke up, and the windows of heaven opened, and it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Noah and his wife, Mrs. Noah, Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives, and all the beasts, fowls, and creeping things of every kind, entered the ark on the same day.
I just have to point out that the wives are right before the beasts and fowls and creeping things. All the animals went in by twos, a male and female of each species.
God shut the ark's door.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, God himself shut the door. And the flood covered the highest mountaintops with 15 cubits to spare. That's kind of interesting because that means that it went up, to the top of Mount Everest. And with 15 cubits above that. So it must have been cold on that ark.
Boy.
And you couldn't really breathe because, when you get up that high, there's not much oxygen.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And you have all those animals in there.
They must have worked all that out.
Every living thing died on the earth.
Except for everything in the ark, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 8. God remembered Noah and ended the flood by closing the fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven. He probably said to himself, "Oh, yeah, I remember Noah.
There's a guy there."
He's that guy that I told to build the ark. Yeah.
On that little rubber ducky floating down
Yeah.
there. The flood lasted 150 days. The ark landed on the mountains of Ararat.
The mountains of Ararat is in Turkey. And that's where people are still claiming that they're finding the ark. About every few years you hear that they got
we found
pictures
the
and
ark.
everything. They found the ark, yeah.
Verse 6. At the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark and sent out a raven to search for dry land. Then Noah sent out a dove to do the same. But the dove returned without finding any land. 7 days later, Noah released the dove again. It returned in the evening with an olive leaf in its mouth. So Noah knew dry land had appeared. And then, after 7 days, he sent the dove out again. This time it didn't return. Well, what happened to the raven?
It's never mentioned again. I think what happened is in one story he sent out a raven, and another story he sent out the dove, and they just put them together.
Okay.
But isn't that a nice plan? You let the dove go, and if it doesn't come back, well, you don't know what might happen. But if it comes back with an olive branch in its mouth, then you know that the flood has
found
abated,
an olive branch somewhere.
and it's been dry long enough for an olive tree to grow and mature and produce fruit. Not produce fruit, but at least have leaves.
Yes. Either that, or it's all a shriveled up branch that was from
Dead branch, yeah. Noah figured that it was time to get off.
Verse 16. And Noah, his family, and the animals left the ark. And we're on Mount Ararat, I guess.
Yep. Verse 20. Noah sacrificed all the clean beasts for God.
That's why they needed 7.
I think what he means here is he sacrificed 1 or 2 maybe of the clean beasts. They didn't sacrifice all of them because then they'd all go extinct, right? And they wouldn't have any more animals to sacrifice. How bad would that be?
Or to eat.
Oh, no, they'd still have animals to eat. No, they wouldn't. If
They're
they
the
were-
clean
if they're all
ones.
the
You can't
clean
eat
ones.
unclean ones.
That's right. Of course, they don't know about that yet
Okay.
because they haven't got those rules yet in Leviticus.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we're way ahead of them, you and me.
Verse 21. God smelled a sweet savor from Noah's sacrifice and said, I won't curse the ground anymore because of things human do. Because human imaginations are evil from their youth. And I won't kill every living thing like I just did. As long as the earth exists, planting and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night will also exist. Okay.
Yeah.
God is sorry, I think.
Sounds a little sorry. I won't do it again. I promise.
I don't know if I want to know too much more about this God.
Boy, you got a lot coming, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, thank you for condensing this for us.
Well, sure.
It makes the read a lot easier.
Well, I hope so. That's the plan.
And doing it here with you is so much fun.
Okay. It is fun.
Okay, listeners, thanks for staying with us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.